Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina and I'm the makeup enthusiast. In today's video, I'm doing another first impressions and I am going to be using the BPerfect Cosmetics Carnival Palette, which was made in collaboration with Stacey Marie. So if you haven't seen this palette yet, this is what it looks like on the inside. It's super colorful and pretty. It comes with 17 matte shades, 7 shimmers and 2 highlighters up the top here. So to test out this palette today, I might do maybe something different and maybe do a palette bingo. I'm feeling a little bit uninspired today, so a palette bingo might help me pick out a good color combination. I'm going to do some swatches before we get into that and then we can move on with the makeup. I have not touched this palette yet, so I'm excited to see what these colors look like. I've seen some people create some really pretty looks with this palette, so I'm excited to see what I can come up with. I'm just going to take my watch off too because I don't want to get eyeshadow all over my watch band. It already looks like a total mess because of my powder and everything, so I'm just going to take it off to see if I can save it a little bit. Starting off, we have Shuffle, Guilty. Hoping that one would be better than what it is. I'm just dipping back in. Guilty. Seems to be buildable. Hustle. Not typically a colour I generally go for. Naked. Same again. I'm going to dip back in and swatch that again. Naked. So the mattes do seem buildable so far, which is always a good sign. Then we have Basic, which is very basic, as the name suggests. Rowdy, which concludes the top row. Funky. How funky is that shade? Oh my gosh, that is pretty. It's a little bit powdery, but it is a very pretty shade. Pink Me. This is also a very pretty shade. It's like, it's a silver shimmer with a pink shift to it. I don't know whether it's going to be showing up on camera. I'm just going to go over it again to see if we can get the pink shift a little bit nicer. Yeah, you can, it definitely has a bit of a pink shift to it. Keen, which is another pretty powdery one. Lit, which is still a little bit powdery, but not as powdery as the pink and the yellow. Wifey. I was hoping that would be better than what it is. I'm just going to dip back in again and see if this one can be built. Definitely. Hush. Ooh, that's a pretty colour. Foolish. Wasted, which is another really powdery colour. Queenie. Mint. I was hoping that one would be better than what it is. Mint. Charge. Oh, that is beautiful. And Sky. Those are the first 3 lines. Liquor. I'm just going to go back over it. Chant, which is very disappointing. Let me try and build some more up on my finger. Chant. Yeah, no, that's a pretty dud colour, that one. Hopefully when it's applied to the eyes it performs a lot better. Then we have Envy, Breezy. That is a pretty colour as well. So the last 2 colours are 2 colours in the palette that I'm really excited to see what they look like. Moony, which is a silver with a blue shift to it. Mood, which is a matte navy. Oh, that's a pretty colour. I'm always on the hunt for like a really beautiful matte navy, so I'm interested to see how that one performs on the eye. Then lastly we have Sinner, which is one of the highlighters in the palette, and Saint. So the first number is number 23, which is Moony. It's like a silvery, goldy, blue shift. It's a very interesting colour. Next is number 24, which is Mood, the navy, which I'm super excited to try and use. Number 6, which is Rowdy, which is the darker of the matte browns. Number 21, Envy, which is the matte green. Number 3, which is Hustle, like money. So the next one is number 18, which is Sky. The last one, which I think I'll use, is Lit, which is number 10. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 colours. So starting with my paint pot, for today's look I'm just going to set between like the crease and the eyebrow, so just like on the brow bone. So starting off my Zoeva, this is the 227, and dipping into Rowdy and placing that into the crease. And because I haven't set my paint pot on my like lid area, I'm stamping this into my crease. Then taking the colour Mood and patting that on the outer corner and blending that into where I just placed Rowdy. Then with a fluffy brush on top of that, I'm going to take Sky and just like a little tiny dip and blending out this top edge using Sky. Just going in with a pointed fluffy brush into Mood and just filling in anywhere where it's gotten a bit patchy. Now into Hustle for the lid. I'm a little bit impressed at the shimmers. I haven't got, like, I'm not wetting these shimmers, and like the only thing that's on my lid is just whatever kind of stick is left over from my paint pot that has probably dried by now. I'm pretty impressed. One thing I will say is this look reminds me of some of the looks that people have been doing using the Natasha Denona Gold palette. I still have to use Moony, which is this top colour here, which I think I'm going to pop in the inner corner. And then Envy I haven't really used. I haven't really used Sky, and I definitely haven't used Lit. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with those ones. I'm thinking maybe Envy and Lit under my lower lash line, but I feel like Lit's going to completely ruin this look if I use it. So I don't know. I'm going to jump off and do my base, and then I'm going to come back and do the rest of my eyes with you guys on camera. And I might also pick one of the highlights to use with my makeup today. So I've done my face makeup. I actually used a new foundation today. I used the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation and concealer. I haven't done a wing or anything just yet because I thought maybe today for something different might do my under eyes first and then see if I want to do an eyeliner. Bring my Suva Beauty tiny little smudger brush. To start off with, I'm going to grab Mood on my little smudger brush, and I'm just going to put this on the outer edge, just a tiny little bit, just to make it a bit more seamless from the top lash line to the bottom. Then into Envy, which is the matte green. And then right on the very, very inner corner, I'm going to put just a touch of lit. I might switch to a little liner brush maybe. And then on the very, very inner corner, I'm going to take Moony. I think I'm just going to do black upper and lower. I think I'm going to skip the wing for today because I think it's just going to get lost in the navy blue anyway. So I'm just going to give that one a miss. For highlighter, I think because I've got like a golder color on the lid, I might go with Sinner, my Ella Cosmetics highlighter brush here. And let's see what this looks like. I typically don't really go for goldy highlights, so I'm just going to add a little and then like build it up and see how it looks. I mean, it doesn't look the best on the skin up close, but like for a highlighter that's in a palette, I think it's pretty nice. And last but not least, lips and mascara. And for lips, I'm going with my tried and true Hourglass, My One Desire. And this is the final look using the Carnival palette from BPerfect in collaboration with Stacey Marie. So my first impression thoughts of the BPerfect Cosmetics and Stacey Marie Carnival palette. I really like this palette. On first impressions, I love the look that I came up with my palette bingo. I really enjoyed this, working with this palette. I didn't get to use some of the colours that I was hoping to use with my palette bingo. The colours just didn't come out for me in the numbers, but this navy blue, oh my god, I love this navy blue. I have been on the hunt for a beautiful navy blue, and I think this is a really good navy blue. It can get a bit patchy on the eyes, particularly because I have a bit of excess skin on my eyes. If you are blending a bit too harshly, it can get a little bit patchy, which I found, but I just went in with like a more precise kind of almost like a pencil brush and just laid it down in the areas where it got a bit patchy, and it was fine. Like, it built really well, really nicely. The shimmer gold, this like dirty gold hustle color, I would not normally pick this color in a palette. I guess that's one of the good things about palette bingos. You can get colors that you wouldn't normally pick. Most certainly this will probably be the last color in the palette that I would pick, but I think it goes so well with mood. I think it just goes so well. I think this look is beautiful. I really like this look. I love the intensity of the colors. Like I said, when I was applying Hustle, I didn't wet Hustle. The only thing that Hustle was kind of sticking to was the leftover of my paint pot that, like, I guess hadn't really dried all that much. I think it would still lay nicely over your lid if you didn't put any kind of primer down. The mattes do kind of stick and skip if you are using a sticky base. I found that to be the case. So if you are wanting a more vibrant intensity from these colors, I suggest kind of packing the mattes on rather than blending them on. That's when I found that I got the skipping, was when I blended them on. Even the color Lit, I only used the tiniest little amount of Lit, but I just think it adds just a little like excitement to the look. I only added like a tiny little bit on the inner corner, and I think it just adds a little something. It is a really pigmented, beautiful color. Like, it lays on really nicely. I'm gonna see how I go with future looks using the color Wasted, Funky and Keen. They were the ones that were quite powdery when I swatched them, so I'm interested to see how those three go. The color Envy and Chant, they're not the most amazing colors. Envy and Chant, they are very muted when you swatch them. Even when you apply them, they're a bit nothing when you apply them. So those two are kind of disappointments in the palette. Like I said, the shimmers are beautiful. I'm excited to try these like bluey shimmers. Sky is beautiful. Like the tone of this bright blue here is beautiful, and when you pair it with Mood, like I only blended the tiniest little bit of Sky on the top edge of Mood. Moony and Pinky, they're really interesting colors. They're like a silver. Pink Me's got a pinky shift to it, and then Moony has like this goldy blue shift to it. Really interesting colors, both of them, and I think that they're colors that could definitely add a little extra, particularly when you are pairing Moony with the blues and Pink Me with the pinks. I think that would draw that shift out even more in the colors. The highlights, I used Sinner as a highlight today, and I mean, I wasn't expecting much, but actually when it's applied to the skin, it does look quite nice. Up close, when you're looking up close, I mean, it does emphasize a little bit of texture, I think, in my personal opinion, but they do blend nicely into the skin. They're kind of that middle ground between a glittery highlight and like a smooth, wet looking highlight. All in all, like from first impressions, I think this is a great little palette. Like I said, I paid $74.99 for this palette. A little bit more expensive for a palette, but you are getting 24 shadows in this palette as well as 2 highlighters. I think it could be a great little travel palette. You do have some more nuder shades up here that you could pair with like Hush and Queenie. You could pair them with the shimmers as well. I think this could be a great little travel palette. Just bear in mind, it is kind of bulky. That's the one thing that I don't enjoy about this palette, is the thickness. It is a bit bulky, but other than that, the packaging is really nice. I love how the shadows are laid out. There's like no wasted space in this palette. The mirror probably could be improved a little bit. It's only quite small. I was surprised. I'm very surprised. I think there's a good range of colors in here. I think if you're looking for something to start to dabble into colors, I think this could be a great palette. I think comparing this to the Makeup Revolution palette that I just did a first impressions on as well, I personally would recommend this to you over that one. If you are wanting to get into colors, sometimes it can be really overwhelming if you're just looking at this. Like, you see all these colors and you go, that's scary. Whereas if you add a few more nudes and wearable colors in there, you can start to play with the colors. You can pair the nudes with one of the bright colors and start to expand the way that you work with your makeup that way. If I was to compare the two, I think that you would get on using these colors a lot better and a lot easier than using the colors in the Tammy palette. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed with these shadows. I think these ones are a lot easier to build than the Makeup Revolution palette. I think it's a great little palette. Well, it's a great big palette. It's like the size of my face. So that is my first impression review of the BPerfect Carnival palette. Let me know down in the comments box if you would like me to do some more looks using this palette. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Also, make sure you click the subscribe button down below if you're new to my channel so you don't miss out on any of the videos that are coming out every single day in April. That's it for this video, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.